Everybody, welcome to our week number 5 Twitch live stream for my 55502 intro psych class, where we are in week number 5, which is just hard to believe that we're that far into the class at this point. We only have 2 more 2-week sections left together. I cannot believe that it's already like partway into July. It feels like everything is going so quickly. But before I get going too much, can you all hear me and see me okay? Can someone let me know if everything is coming through all right on your end with a thumbs up or like a yes or something like that? That would be super helpful. I'll wait just a moment just to make sure that you can all hear and see me all right. Okay, great. Thank you so much. And I love all the little, like the little dino and the little characters up there. Very, very cute. So as I said, we are, if we scroll down, we are right here in weeks 5 and 6. Okay, so everything from weeks 5 and 6 is due by Sunday, the 20th of July at 11:59 p.m. We're just getting going on week 5, which is what we'll focus on today. A couple of quick pieces of feedback from weeks 3 and 4 before we move into where we are this week. Again, what I'm seeing is a lot of great stuff. A lot of you are doing a really beautiful job with your discussions. The exam scores are really strong. A lot of you should feel really, really good about where you're at. If you find that you are missing some points on the discussions, give me a little bit more, right? Elaborate a little bit more, go into a little bit more detail. Some of you didn't go into a lot of detail on the dream theories. A couple of you, same with like the examples with classical conditioning, or with like the memory and cognition, just not quite giving me enough on how you would hold on to that 28-digit sequence, which thankfully you don't actually have to do, though who knows, you might remember it longer than you would like to, or kind of not going into a lot of detail on those 3 elements of a test being standardized, reliable, and valid. So just make sure, again, with your discussions that you're always elaborating. Think about them as like little mini papers. As far as the exam goes, the average was a little bit higher than the last exam, which is always wonderful to see. A few of you were a little confused. Some of the matching questions, when it grades them, it's all green, even though maybe you missed a couple of points. It's just a weird coding thing. I'm sorry if that confused a couple of you. Otherwise, most of you did a great job on the exam. A lot of you doing the extra credit opportunities. So on my end, I'm seeing a lot of really good things. You will have an opportunity this week for week number 5 to kind of reflect one more time on how you're doing with those materials, how you're doing with your grade and your approach. Continue to really use it as a learning opportunity. If you wish you had done a little bit better, consider changing things up. If you haven't done the study guide, consider doing the study guide. But most of you, again, should be very happy with how you're doing, which is fantastic. So if there aren't any questions about weeks 3 and 4, we will move into weeks 5 and 6. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I am monitoring on my phone. But with this one, we're looking at chapter 9 and chapter 10. So motivation and emotion, discussion 9 and 10, and then self-assessment number 2. Next week, you'll have chapters 11 and 12, discussions 11 and 12, and the exam. But since we're in week number 5, that's what I'm going to focus on tonight in my time with all of you. And then next week, I'll focus on week number 6. So for chapters 9 and 10, as always, you want to do 3 things. Read the chapter in the ebook, read through the lecture, and watch the lecture video, right? So 3 things with every chapter. Hopefully those 3 things together will really make it easy for you to understand everything and feel good about the materials. Make sure you do that not only for chapter 9, but also chapter 10. You do have 2 discussions related to those chapters. So chapter 9, discussion number 9. As always, you'll have my instructions, followed by my video. This one's all about motivation, and a little bit related to like diets and advantages and disadvantages of diets, and what role you think the media plays and all of that. So kind of, I was going to say a lighter discussion, every pun intended, but when you're ready, you'll hit reply, and then you can also remember to reply to a classmate to get those 2 points of credit. Again, if you find that you're missing a couple of points on these, try and elaborate a little bit more, give me a little bit more detail. But most of you are doing a really wonderful job on these discussions, which makes me happy to see. For discussion number 10, this one is related to emotion. And again, when you open it, you'll see my instructions followed by my video. There's a little bonus video down here I'll talk about in a moment. But with this one, what you're doing, and I want to just take a second to explain it. And again, I always go over it more in the video. But you're going to explain an emotional reaction from all three theories of emotion: the James Lang, Cannon-Bard, and Schachter-Singer. Okay, so make sure you're describing like the chain of events that leads to your emotional reaction. You can make up an event or you can go with something real that happened to you. Feel free to be creative and have fun with it, but you're going to be describing what is the chain of events. So something happens, do you respond physiologically? Are you labeling it? You know, kind of explaining it from each of those three different theories. You're going to talk about what are some ways to spot a lie. This can be from the lecture or your own personal experiences or a combination of the two, but make sure you give me several and be specific. And then just for fun, if you want, I'm a horrible liar. Just thinking about lying, I'm already smiling. I'm a really, really bad liar. I always smile and laugh and like look away and all the classic things that people do. But I did practice. I did 2 truths and a lie. If you want, just for fun, you can watch it and see if you can figure out which one is the lie. I will let you know at the end of these 2 weeks. I'll let you know in the feedback in case you are curious and guess. But as always, you'll hit reply and then don't forget to also reply to a classmate. I think I did pretty okay in there. I did practice, but just thinking about having to lie is making me smile. Not my strongest thing. I don't do so great at the holidays when I have to hide things from my kids. But those are the 2 discussions for this week. Discussion 9, discussion 10, and then of course the reading and the lectures and everything that go with them. Don't forget to do the little self-assessment. So this is worth 5 points. It's not timed, and I'm not looking for anything in particular. I just want you to kind of take a opportunity to kind of reflect on your progress and your approaches to learning. You know, how are you doing in the classes or anything you want to change? So you'll take this, again, please be honest, and there's no time limit, so you can take as much time as you need. The other thing that you do have this week, of course, like always, I will post the recording of this in a little bit. I'll give you the extra credit here in a moment as we have kind of settled in. We're more than halfway through. Short and sweet live streams for you. I just want a chance to check in with all of you in case you have questions, give you an opportunity for a little bit of extra credit. And so let me give you a couple of quick reminders. I always type this one up. I already put it in the chat. If you could just double check your subscription status. Remember, it's good for 30 days. So it may have expired at this point. You just have to renew it for 30 more days, which will cover you for the rest of the class. And I greatly appreciate those of you who've done this. It saved me some time. Not only that, but if you're watching this later as a recording, you can still get those extra credit points that way. I do have a reminder for you, and next week a little bit different schedule. The 16th is my daughter's birthday, and so I'm gonna have our live stream on the 15th. So let me put that. She's turning 13. I cannot even believe my oldest will be 13 next week. Crazy. 13 already. That's so wild. So let me put this here in the chat. Our next Twitch live stream will be on Tuesday, July 15th at 7:00 p.m. Okay, so just as a quick reminder, and I will send out a message about that next week to remind you. Sorry for the day change, but we have something very special planned for her big day, so I won't be available at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock. Let me give you the extra credit for this week as well and show you where you can answer that. Let me copy and paste this in. I already typed it up. So this is the week number 5. Oops. Twitch extra credit question, right? And the question for you, and I'm putting it in the chat, what is the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation? Explain and give an example of each. What is the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation? Explain and give an example of each. So when you're ready, you'll go to Canvas, and since we're in week 5, you'll click on optional Twitch extra credit number 5 right here. And then up at the top, you can click on Start Assignment. And that will bring up this little box where you can type your response. And when you're done, go ahead and hit submit for your confetti burst. And are those gnomes? I couldn't see what they were. Like little gnomes and confetti. Who knows what you'll get, but I got gnomes today. Why not? So those are the big things for this week. Oh, nice. How old is your son going to be on the 15th? How old is your son going to be? Like I said, mine will be 13, my daughter. So those are the big things for this week. And then what I'll do next week is we'll go over week number 6. We'll go over the exam. Of course, I'll give you the extra credit and everything next week. But just kind of short and sweet as usual. What I'll do from here is I will hang out for a little bit. If any of you do have any questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer them if there's anything you're confused about or want me to go over. Otherwise, that is kind of everything, right? 15 minutes or less, right? Kind of being really respectful of your time. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. You have a wonderful evening. It's supposed to be pretty hot tomorrow, so stay cool. And I'll hope to see you next week on Tuesday for my next live stream. 11, right? 11 and 13, right? Our kids are getting up there. All right, well, happy birthday to your son. And again, I hope you all have a wonderful week. I'm going to minimize my video, but I will hang out for a few more minutes. I'm going to put in the chat to thank you. Thank you for those of you joining me live or even watching this later. Have a wonderful week, everyone. And I hope to see you next week on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Yeah, so true about doubling the caffeine, huh? You're right. No, you're fine. There really isn't any limit on the peer response, so you're welcome to write as much as you would like. Most people, it's just a couple of sentences, but it's totally up to you. So whatever feels comfortable, whatever you have to say is good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great day too.